Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, Breakup Coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Hello, my beautiful Bravehearts. How is everybody doing? I am super pumped for today's episode. I have two amazing, beautiful, wonderful human beings and souls on the line with me today. I wanted to bring them on and talk about community because the Braveheart community is fire. And I talk about peer-to-peer support all the time and how amazing it is. I have seen drastic shifts just because someone else watched someone go through something that they were going through or the other side of what they were going through, and it helped them change their mindset. And that's my favorite part about having the group format is you get to see other people going through it and learn from them and grow from them. And same thing for the people providing their experience. They grow and they learn. And then also, it's just an amazing experience to feel connected to other human beings deeply during a time you feel so disconnected from like the main person, the love of your life, your best friend. And so what I really enjoyed in the last round of the Get Over Your Ex program was I felt like this round, and I've had multiple rounds that do this, but this round specifically was just really cool to watch them interact with one another. And I brought on Amanda and Annie, and I specifically wanted to talk with them because I felt like you guys were just super interactive with the group. And it's like Annie dove in head first into the content, dove all in. We could see her just dive in, get all dirty into the content and like bringing up all of her stuff right away. It was so cool. And then I feel like Amanda, you were like the cheerleader of the whole group. It was so fun and so cool to watch you in there. And I just wanted to bring both of you on to talk about that experience because it was so eye-opening and exciting for me. So I want you to go ahead and take a moment and introduce yourself. Annie, why don't you go first? I have you up on the upper left-hand side of my screen, and then Amanda will have you go. Okay.
Okay. Hi, I'm Annie. I am 25. I live in New York City. I'm an actor and personal trainer. Was there anything else that needed to be introduced?
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about why you joined the program.
Oh, yes. So I joined the program when I was on a break from the boyfriend that eventually broke up with me. We got back together weeks before the program started. And then the day the program started, he broke up with me again. I was pretty distraught. I think that this was one of the first people I really saw myself building a life with. And I don't think I've ever done breakups correctly. I'm going to use air quotes because what is correct. And I never really dealt with these in a healthy way. And this just completely destroyed me. And I'm living with his best friend's girlfriend. So it was a lot of things that were surrounding me. And I felt kind of helpless and threw myself a pity party. And this program was great for that. And it kind of saved me a lot. It made me feel a lot more sane. And it's really great to find like sort of solace within a group of women that also are going through very similar things, not the same thing. And I'm at a different age. I'm probably one of the younger ones, which was cool to experience. And yeah, I loved it. It was great. And I'm doing a lot better now. We're almost on month 4. Some days are not great. Some days are beyond great, but I have a lot more tools now. So it was good. It was a good time.
I think it's so funny because I remember you pre-registered for the program and then the program was about to start. And I was like, hey girl, I don't see you in the group or something. I had to reach out to you for something for some reason. And you're like, yeah, I'm on my way there. It's just, I'm a little concerned about the program because I'm back together with my boyfriend.
Yeah. The universe heard me and then decided otherwise.
And then I was like, no, you should still do the program. Like you should still get to the point where you feel really solid, rock solid on who you are and what you want and knowing that you have control over that. Again, the Sunday analogy, you guys, right? Building that beautiful epic Sunday. He's just the cherry on top. And then
had any idea that's what I needed. I think I got so lost in a man, and I had never done that before. And then when I was at sea without the life vest, I went, oh shit, okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm really glad that the universe told me to sign up for this. I can't explain. I decided to do it, and I was like, I'm going to be a better girlfriend. And then by the point it started, it was, no, I'm going to be a better me, which is significantly better in my mind than being someone's girlfriend.
That was really beautiful.
So good. So good. I love it. Amanda, tell us about you, boo.
Okay, I'm Amanda. I'm 28 years old. At the time of the program, I lived in Chicago. During the program, I moved to Colorado. I'm a speech therapist in the schools, and I also have like a lot of interest with like social media and stuff. So I'm always doing something weird for work or different. I was dating my ex-boyfriend for 4 years, and he abruptly like got really afraid and broke up with me, and it was straight up the end of my world. I was so sad, and I just cry even thinking about it. Not because I cry when I talk about it, but not because I'm like sad about it, but because I think about how I felt and how it was so crazy for me. And so I found Dorothy through recommendation of a friend, and I signed up because I literally thought my life was ending, and I was like, I just need something. And I binged her podcast for like days and days, and I was like, I don't even care. Like, nobody else can help me. Like, and we talked a little bit, Dorothy, how like your friends and family just like literally do not understand. Like, I mean, unless they've had a horrible breakup, and some people have, but like not like it's really horrible. And I just was like, nobody else can help me. Like, you can just have my credit card. You know what I mean? So that's the story. I also loved it, and we can chat about that more as we go. But it was one of the best thing I could have done at that, like hands down, the best choice. Like, there is no better thing I could have done for myself.
Amanda, I will never like your messages.
Okay.
Yes, both of that. I was going to talk about my DMs with you are some of my favorite DMs. And you were like my projector sister. And like, I remember you. And then we did get on that call. We got on that open coaching call, and you were like, I just signed up for this business program, but I can't do the business program because I can't even focus because I'm going through this breakup. And I was like, well, you can still get what you want from that business program. Stick with it, like do it. And then you were like, I think you paused it or something. You were able to pause it with that coach, which that's a beautiful thing. And then you ended up coming over to the Get Over Your Ex program, which I'm just so glad you were the part of that.
Literally, if I didn't have that, so we'll talk about that, but community support was like the number one thing that I needed. And it was like life-changing for me.
I love it. Okay. So let's chit chat then about let's chit chat about your biggest shifts. Okay. So I want to know, what do you feel like? And we're a month out of the program at this point. So looking back to the 3 months, I guess it was 4 months ago, but the entire 3 months that we had together, what are the biggest shifts that you can remember to date now that we're a month out of the program? Like, what were your biggest shifts? How did you arrive there? And how could another Braveheart apply that? It's a loaded question, but yeah, Amanda, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So the two things that I think about the most that have really changed me, the concept of clean pain and dirty pain. So it's like you feel just like genuine pain and sadness and loss and grief from a breakup. And then on top of that is like an anger at him, like this shouldn't be this way. You have all these like insane thoughts, and they just kind of like consume you. And it took me through the program to like peel back those layers and be like, I'm feeling extreme sadness, like, and I'm blaming other people, and I'm shoving and pushing and yelling and arguing and freaking out and blah, blah, blah. And what is really going on is that my body just needs to cry and feel sad. Like it. And so even now, there's times when I'll be like driving and I'll be like replaying stuff in my head, and I'll be like pissed, or it'll just ruin my day. And then I'm like, okay, what's really going on here? Like, I'm actually I miss my old life or whatever. And like, I just need to feel that for a second. And so that's been super cool. And I wish everybody would know that, because I see my friends and I'm like, no, no, no. Like, what are you feeling? Like, let's figure out what it is and feel it, you know?
I'm obsessed with that. And how cool would it be if we started interacting with our friends like that? Like, girl, I'm not going to do anything to help you feel better right now. I'm just going to sit here with you and we're going to ask your inner voice what it needs to do physically to feel the feeling. And then we're going to do it together. We're just going to roll around on the floor. We're
Yeah.
going to jump around and shake. We're going to cry together. That'd be fun.
So I have some friends that are going through different breakups, and some of them are like years out and they're still very much struggling with all these layers and layers and layers of added pain. And it is just crazy, because how we've gotten through this is like literally like fast tracked, and it's just like amazing. Sorry, I'll let you talk, Annie. I'm like going off.
No, it's okay. I've made that face because I can't imagine going through this for years. Oh my God.
Ew.
The biggest takeaway for me, which is the most simple concept, and I think it's the whole, like, it's the base of the pyramid that Dorothy builds for her program, I'd say, is questioning your thoughts. That had never occurred to me ever, because in my mind, I was like, no, this is correct. And then learning how to be like, no, it's not. And then just like shocked my entire system. I felt like I had a jury in my head at all times being like, here's the thought at question, and then just debating it. And I use it now all the time. And I was telling Dorothy during the program, now I feel like an enigma when I'm talking to my friends, because they're all freaking out about these thoughts and my thoughts are questioning it. And I feel different. I feel enlightened, maybe a very strong word, but weird. And it very helpful, because a whole lot of the problems I was creating have nothing to do with me, even stuff that has to do with him. I probably will blame the breakup on him, but this is a much better thing for me. And also, majority of things that were happening had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with him. And that was kind of freeing. It was kind of annoying, but very freeing to just let go of that and learn how to work on my own thought process. And that was a very simple yet very hard concept. And it was great. It's great to work on that.
Another thing I wanted to add about another like huge takeaway, I very much struggled, and it was a pattern my whole life. And I think it's really common in women, and it's especially common in women in breakups, but just like, I really had like no concept that like my emotions are my responsibility, and like I am my own responsibility. Like I just was so dependent in so many ways. And it's crazy because like I'm like I like have a business, like I'm a risk taker. Like I would have never known how dependent I was unless I was so dependent. And so for everything, for how I feel, for my dreams, for like literally every single thing was dependent on the actions of somebody else. And so through the program, I've really learned that like I've actually got my own back. Like I am in the mother forking depend, you know what I mean? Like and that applies in so many things. And so being emotionally independent is like, I wish I had that when I was like years ago, you know?
Amanda, going off of that, very similarly, I'm not someone that gets angry or upset very often. So breakups used to literally kill me. And I would blame it on everybody else or this poor man who broke up with me. And then, yeah, realizing, oh, I'm responsible for this. That was hard. That was needed.
I know.
But it was a safe way to do it, was doing it with how many other women we did it with, like 20 something or whatever. It was a very safe place to do it. And it made me feel less crazy, because no one else in my life is currently going through a breakup like this. But I was with 20 some women that were, and that was really great.
Oh, that gave me chills. Like no one else around me was going through a breakup, but I was in a group with 20 some other women who were going through what we were going through. Like so cool. That's amazing, right? And they all have different backgrounds. I just met with the Bravehearts over 40. So you guys know Julie and Marissa and Tammy, and then who was the other? Melanie, right? And so one of the biggest things that they talked about was that age didn't matter. Like even they would watch you guys, right, who were younger than them, and all the stuff you were talking about still applied to them and vice versa, right? Mm-hmm. I just had a 23-year-old reach out to me on Instagram being like, it's too late for me, right? Yeah. And so she's having the same thought pattern that someone who is 40 had. And so it's so fascinating. So, okay, you guys already bridged over into the group. Let's talk more about it. So tell me, I want to know, what were your biggest surprises about being in a group setting, maybe that you weren't expecting, or if were there any?
Go for it, Annie.
I'm trying to think surprises of being in a group setting, I guess. And I mean, I think because when you're in your own breakup, you have your blinders on and you think nothing this bad has ever happened to anybody else ever, because feelings. But I think I was surprised by the amount of people that are also going through similar things, and a lot of similarities. When I would be afraid to talk about one thing, either because I knew what you were going to say already, Dorothy, but my brain hadn't yet to like be an adult about it, or I didn't want anyone else to be like, oh, well, she was doing so well, specifically when I started sleeping with my ex again. And then I brought it up and maybe 5 other people were like, oh yeah. And I went, oh, that's cool. It was nice. It was like having friends that I've never met or been able to hug to be there. So I think I was surprised by the amount of people that are doing the same thing or having similar thoughts. It made me feel less crazy.
And having the same kind of like problems that they're trying to solve for. And we don't talk about it in the open, right? We don't bring this shit up on social media. We don't talk about it with people. And we definitely wouldn't talk about it with like acquaintances. And then we have a limited number of like close friends. And so maybe some of your close friends have gone through it, but maybe not. And the other one, go ahead.
Have like a verbatim script of like, why would you ever do that? You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
So
friends don't understand, yet they'll probably do it the next breakup they have.
They don't understand until they go through it. You're like, don't judge me until you've gone through it, boo. Seriously. So the other thing too that I was thinking of as you guys were talking is, you know what I was surprised by when I started doing groups just in general is how badass all these people are. Like in the group, there are so like all of you guys are so badass and so cool and so like interesting human beings. And I think it's cool to see that, because you see like, oh my gosh, there probably isn't anything wrong with me, because look at how amazing these people are. And still they are going through a breakup and heartbreak and experiencing the same emotions that I am. Mm-hmm. Did you guys have that feeling?
I had that feeling because Julie is like a fashion designer in Europe. And I was like, dang, that's really cool that we're in this together.
Right? So good.
Yeah. So I thought of a really good surprise that I found like truly just like mind-blowing and so beautiful. It was really, really, really valuable to me to have a community of people in different stages of life, because it made like some people were going through divorces, some people were going through 5-year divorces, 2-year divorces, 10-year divorces, like 20-year divorces, or like a short breakup. And it just, how do I even say this? Like, let's say I got what I wanted and like my ex married me. Okay. Like you say, Dorothy, like life is still half good and half bad. Like who's to say we wouldn't have gotten a divorce? Who's to say like, and it was just like this moment of like, nobody is exempt from pain. And like, we're all these people from different walks of life are here. And like, just even if I got exactly what I wanted, I would have still felt extreme pain in some way. And it's just, I don't know. I hope I'm making sense. It like was so beautiful to me.
Yeah, it's a very freeing moment to recognize, oh my God, I'm going to be experiencing pain either way. So I might as well address the pain that I'm experiencing now, because if I don't experience it in this way, I'm going to experience it in a different way. We're going to have to learn that skill either way.
Yeah.
Just different flavors.
It was just like really cool to have people of different ages. I loved that.
Right? So good. All right. So then talk to me about how was the group helpful? What are some of your biggest takeaways when it comes to like how helpful the group was? Or do you remember any specific examples of how you took something from your peer and learned from them, or any thoughts around that?
I can go first. Is that okay? Okay. So for me, when I first was broken up with, it was like right before the start of the program. And for example, like on my call with Dorothy, like I literally couldn't even get words out. I was sobbing uncontrollably. Like that was my like state. I was so sad, so sad. And again, like you really don't have anywhere to turn. I was alone in our apartment. I was like packing up our stuff, and I was like, I was so low. And because the way the program is structured, you have like 2 group calls a week. You also have like a community call once a week, and there's like different workshops. And at least for the first like month, like there was a support group like every few days. And so in that time, like I needed a support group every few days, and I literally got it. And like I cannot even express, that was so amazing for me. Like I was on my own, and I had like an AA group for people going through breakups. Every like the longest I went without support was like 3 days, which was it was so amazing for me. So that was like hands down probably one of the best things ever for me, and I just love it. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it was kind of like this little secret group that no one else got to be a part of. I mean, specifically for me, because my home environment was such a weird and continues to be such a weird situation for a while, to be able to go and not rant, because ranting is not helpful, but to be able to talk about it and really dissect it and try to sort out all of these feelings, to do it with other people that are either in very similar situations. A couple of people were living with their exes. It was very amazing to hear them talk about it and how they got through it. And that was very helpful. And then to be with people that just like were so happy to be there, that everyone just wanted to support each other. And then kind of like we've been talking about, women that are however many years old from wherever was really interesting and really cool. And I feel like not only does it help you digest the past, I think it helps you prepare to eat the future. Like you will continue to date more people. And I've learned a lot about random men I've never met before, and like people I've never met before. And it's kind of processing my own stuff, yes, but then like having in my peripheral vision how to go about dating in the future, which is also very helpful, because I feel like you could go through all this and then go out to date and then be back to square one. But having people hold you accountable doesn't really make you do that. So dating's been different, having other people kind of in my peripheral vision, but it's been great. And I don't think I would have done this in a healthy way without all that group and all that support.
Yeah.
I love it. Amanda, were you going to say something else?
I just like loved the program. I really did. It was one of the best things ever, 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 ever.
Appreciate that. Okay, so let's chat about, I think I want to go to the place of words of wisdom. So if you were in front of another Braveheart today who's just going through a breakup, Amanda, they're on the phone with you crying like you were crying with me.
Mm-hmm.
They're struggling.
So embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing.
I am embarrassed about it. It's totally fine. It is just really funny.
I kind of loved it. I resonated so much with you because you're like in Chicago of all places. And I'm like, that's 26-year-old me. That's where I was at. That's what you were doing was what I was doing. And I was like, this is literally why I do what I do, is to help people in those exact, like it's mind blowing to me. So I loved you for it. But I want you to think about a Braveheart who's struggling right now, who's just going through the thick of their heartbreak. Their best friend, the person they thought they were going to spend the rest of their life with. What is like some words of wisdom or advice that you would want to give them?
So I'm tearing up right now because I've just been like, so during the program, I moved to Colorado, and I don't know if anyone's into like astrology, but I'm in my Saturn return, which is like a huge astrological event that I've been like doing lots of research on. And I guess so it's been 4.5, 5 months since my breakup. And in that 4.5 and 5 months, I've seen literally, it's like an absurd amount of growth in myself. And I've like learned so many new things. I moved cities. Like when I look at past version of me, I'm like, you little sweet angel, like you had no idea what was coming for you. And you like thought you knew all these things, and you thought you like knew exactly who you were and like exactly where you were going. And like, you had no idea it was about to just like blow up. But then it was going to get better. Like you have no idea that you're on like this like crazy adventure that's like laid out before you by like the universe or God or the stars or whatever. And like, I know you think you're going to die. Like there were times I hope it, and I loved what you said, Annie, on like, we literally think like I'm the only one who's ever felt this much pain in my life. Like I am the only one who's had a breakup this hard ever. Like, but I literally thought I was gonna die. Like I was like, my body might just like die because it was so hard. And I look back at myself with like so much love, and I'm just like, it's okay. Just like one day at a time. Like you are actually like made for this. Like this path is like going to be so incredible for you, and you just have no idea yet. And I know you want to die, but you won't, and it's going to get like way bigger and better. Sorry, one more thing, I'm on a tangent, but Dorothy has this quote that like life mathematically cannot get smaller. So like when you lose something, you think like I lost something, my life is smaller, my life is less, but like that's physically fucking possible. Like your life can only get bigger even when you lose something, because of how much you grow and the perspective you gain. And that didn't really make sense back then, but now it like is so crystal clear. So what I would say to you is to me, and it's just that whole speech, but it's going to be so okay. Like you don't even know how okay it's going to be. It's going to be amazing.
Okay, I'm not crying, you're crying.
No, it's so wild. Okay, Annie, your turn. Sorry for my like.
No, I love it. I love it. I'm also someone that believes in the spirituality of whatever, and regardless of what you believe, if you do or if you don't. I think back to when I first met this last guy, and I thought, you know what, this is meant to be. And then when the breakup happened, I didn't have that same thought. And why not? Because it's the exact same thing. It's like, that's also meant to be. So yeah, I think that's one of the most powerful things I thought of, because it's the same thought. It's just there's different meanings, whatever, behind it. And I'm only making it different because that's what I wanted, but it's not what I needed. And even after 3-4 months, I can look back and kind of what you were saying, Amanda, and be like, oh, no, that's not really what I needed. Mm-hmm. So it's meant to be. It always is. And you will be fine. And please don't hold back emotion, because it will not help you.
Mm-hmm. Something I wanted to mention, I hope I didn't just lose my train of thought. Oh, I moved twice during the program. And I got a new job. I was apartment hunting. I was job hunting. It was a very chaotic time. And so I put a ton of effort in the first month of the program, and the last 2 months I kind of dogged it. Like I barely showed up, and I still benefited like light years from this program. And I keep thinking like, first of all, I'm an idiot, like not really, but like what would happen if I gave my best effort for 3 months straight? And then I think like, if you're on the fence, like I really just effing do it. Like literally it's amazing. And you can put in barely any effort and your life will still change. So like, how cool is that? That's like really cool.
You know? I love that you said that, because Franzi, she did a podcast episode and she talked about how your level of engagement in the program doesn't determine the results that you create. And I like love that she said that too, because I think that's one of like the mind's excuses to not get help is, oh, I need to like clean up my life to then start. And it's like, no, you're going to clean up your life when you're in the program. That's the reason for it. Like, so I'm glad that you said that. Another question that I think would be super fun that I just thought of while you were talking. And we talked about this, I think, in the graduation ceremony, but what are some of your favorite wins from the group? Do you remember any wins that you were like, oh, this is great, I love this win? Actually, someone else, Amanda, said they loved all of your wins, which is so fun.
That made me so happy to hear. I was like, thanks, guys.
You did have some pretty epic stuff happening. Like you just said, you like moved twice, got a new job. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that comes to mind for you, Annie?
Of big wins. I always thought it was really cool when people were succeeding and building in their careers, because that was for them. That wasn't, the whole program is about like detaching from someone else. So it was really cool when like the wins were purely about the person. So, I mean, we talk about Julia, but all her stuff was so cool. And I think her career was cool. I think it's cool that you moved, like you picked up and moved, especially after living with someone. Like, I can't even imagine what that would be like. Yeah, but also the little things were so great. When people get so excited about the little things of like, I didn't call him, we'd all be like, yay, which is great because those are little things that make such a difference later. And it's good to always think positively because you can get so sucked into this vortex of negative thoughts and all of this. And the processing is mostly negative, but like there's so much joy in starting over. And Dorothy says it all the time. And I used to look at starting over as, well, great, got to pick this shit up and keep going. And dating sucks. And it doesn't, though. It's just my mindset sucked. And that wasn't fun. So like starting over is great. And so all the wins, regardless of what they were, especially the little ones, made me really happy.
Okay, so my favorite win. Okay, so when you're in the program, at least how we did it was every week you have like a small group, like just to chat and like make friends. And we would bring up our problems in that group. But of course, none of us are like life coaches. So like a lot of times we would hit walls and we'd be like, I don't really know how to help you. You know what I mean? And then we would get on a coaching call with each other. And it was like so beautiful to see someone that you like have come to like love and really respect and appreciate have breakthroughs. It just was like really powerful and beautiful. So I loved watching my friends in the program like be undone in a coaching session. Like that was really cool.
Amanda, I love the word undone in a coaching. I have never said it like that, and I'm obsessed. I'm going to use it.
Like you have, yeah, please do.
That was so cool because that's what it is. It's just being undone. Mm-hmm. Oh, so good. That unlocked something in my brain. That was cool. The other one win that came to mind for me that I think is hilarious and amazing was when we were doing the dare of the day for confidence. Helen H. I think it was her that she chose to run backwards down the street.
Hilarious.
It was so good. I was obsessed. Hers were really funny. She had a couple of other funny ones too, and I can't remember what they were, but they were good. All right. Is there anything else that you want to share that you feel like other Bravehearts should know about? Or anything that you wanted to share about your experience, anything you wanted to share, words of wisdom, tools, anything that you feel like would be useful? Yes, Annie.
My favorite, and this actually kind of goes back to the podcast, because I continued to listen to the podcast whenever we didn't have group coaching or individual coaching. It was all the time, Dorothy on demand, right? And my favorite thing that you've said in a podcast, you've said many wonderful things, but you used a Tom Brady analogy. Now, I don't watch football. I like good for sports. I just don't. But you use the whole breakup from the coach, and is the coach obsessing about Tom Brady? And I'm in a Starbucks going, oh yeah, duh, of course not. And so I use the Tom Brady analogy for myself all the time now. I am not the coach, I'm Tom Brady, but like I don't sit and think about my coach's next play or anything like that. And I don't remember an episode that was on, but like that helped me so much. So continue listening to the podcast, but definitely sign up for the program if you have the means to do so. But that was the one thing I continually go back to. Put your blinders on. The right people will come into your view. The wrong people won't. And that's great.
Something that I loved that I think is really funny that you reminded me of with the Tom Brady comment is that a lot of times in the videos each week, we would see like more of your personality to Dorothy. And I thought it was so funny. Like you made all these like really funny jokes, and I like loved being like in your living room with you, like just cracking up, being like, that's such a funny joke, Dorothy. Like when you're not there, we had all these conversations that you're not aware of, but I like loved that part.
That's great. I actually love that too, because I'm like,
funny.
That's one of my favorite things about this is like, I love feeling like your best friend. You know what I mean? I love feeling like I know you and I get to see you and I get to spend time with you. That means the world to me. And then it's the fact that, and also I love that you guys still love me after the Tom Brady episode, because I got that all messed up.
Hilarious.
It was so powerful though, Dorothy. I don't think you realize how powerful that is. The idea of a coach obsessing over a player was funny and be like, oh yeah, they would do that.
So good. So good.
Okay. So something I wanted to add. So as if you're listening throughout this podcast, you know that it like rocked my whole world. I was so sad, whatever. So my ex actually did come back, and we actually are not going to pursue it. We decided it wasn't best, and that was my decision. And to think that I'm even like in that space where I like am so excited about myself and my own path, and like so confident that I have my own back, and so like it's just like so crazy that I went from the lowest point to like the most level-headed and secure point ever. And so yeah, we just love the podcast. We love the program. We love the podcast. We love it all. If you are on the fence, you should for sure do it. I love what you said, Annie, about if you have the means. I put this on a credit card, okay? And I have no regrets. So even if you don't have the means, if you think you really need it, I support you because I didn't. And I am so effing glad that I did.
Amanda,
I promote financial. Yeah, sorry. Let me just, yeah.
No, I also agree with you about what did you say? How you're the best version of yourself right now. I don't think I've ever been this secure and confident in myself. I think I've always been looking for a man, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, or looking for a partner. It doesn't matter like who you're looking for specifically. And this is the first time I feel 100%, not 100% every day, but 100% overall really great and okay with my life. And that makes a big difference, because I'm not going to live my life for somebody else. And I think I had been for a while.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
I love you guys. This is so good. I'm so pumped for them to hear this.
Me
So
too.
many great insights. I love it. Awesome. All right. Is there anything else? I want to make sure I don't prematurely cut it off. No? All right. Well, thank you, Bravehearts, for listening in. Thank you so much, Annie and Amanda, for joining us and giving us all of your valuable insight and wisdom. I appreciate you so much. Sending you all love. Have a great week, and I will talk to you next time. If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course, where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.